Joining me today is Peter Schiff, CEO of Euro-Pacific Capital. Peter, you have come out saying the moves we have seen this summer in gold just marks the start of a longer bull trend, and it doesn't have to do with the Fed cutting rates. So why is this time different?
Well, first of all, I do think that the Fed cutting rates is part of the reason that gold is going to be rallying. I mean, it is the monetary policies and the mistakes that are being made, not just by the Federal Reserve, but by central banks all around the world, that is driving the narrative for gold, because gold is an alternative to all of these money substitutes that are being created by governments. And the problem is they're creating too many. They're creating a lot of inflation. They're trying to sustain asset bubbles. They're trying to make it possible for governments to keep on spending money they don't have. And so to do that, they need to artificially suppress interest rates. And that destroys the value of these fiat currencies. And that's what drives people to seek out a better alternative like gold.
Well, I remember when we spoke at the beginning of the year, you said investors would start taking gold more seriously. So is that also part of the equation? Are we seeing this happen?
Well, we're seeing the beginnings, but I still think investors are much too complacent. They have too much confidence in central banks. They don't perceive the predicament that we are now in, particularly the United States, and they have no idea just how much value the dollar and other fiat currencies will lose in terms of purchasing power and how much inflation central banks are going to unleash. If they did, they would be buying a lot more gold and the price would be much higher than where it is now.
Peter, you've been obviously a long-term gold bug and bull. We've spoken about gold even possibly going to 5,000 an ounce. Is this the movement for you? Is this where it starts?
Well, I think it started a long time ago. You remember, gold started under $300 an ounce back in 2001. And so it got up to 1,900 in 2011. And that was the original, stopping point. We backtracked down to just over 1,000. We never actually got back below 1,000 again. I know there are a lot of people that are waiting for gold to go back below 1,000 so they can buy it. They're never going to buy if that's what they're waiting for. But I do think that this is the beginning of the breakout of the consolidation that we've been in for the last several years. But ultimately, I think gold is going to go quite a bit higher than 5,000. It's hard to tell how much higher, but it will go much higher.
What about silver, Peter? Everyone's waiting for silver to follow suit here.
Well, we might have seen the beginning of that. We saw silver fall to an all-time record low relative to gold. I think you could buy at one point better than 93 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. And that began to change. I think we had 10 days in a row. That streak broke a couple of days ago, but we had 10 days where silver outperformed gold. That hadn't happened for quite some time. And so I think we may have seen the lows in silver in terms of gold. And I think that's very good, not only if you own silver, but if you own gold, because I do think that in a gold bull market, a real gold bull market, we would expect to see silver outperforming. And in fact, we would also expect to see gold stocks outperforming. And that seems to be happening now, too.